Khomeini, the guy that we blew up, guess what? He nipped that in the bud for us. So if you were really about making sure Iran didn't have a nuclear weapon, you'd have been for keeping that man alive. But apparently you don't know that. That is insane. I mean, honestly, if you was for them not having a nuclear weapon, you'd have been okay with Obama's deal. But apparently, I mean, I get that, you guys don't like Obama. Like, you have this, senseless hate for Obama. And I somewhat get it. But let's be real, guys. We got to give people their dues. And like, bro, that JCPOA gave us exactly what we wanted out of Iran. Eyes on their nuclear capabilities.
Well, you said we can't find the enriched uranium. How do you know we can't find the enriched uranium? One of the problems that President Trump saw is that we thought we'd obliterated everything. And what did the Iranians do the very next day? They started rebuilding. I taught nuclear weapons at MIT in the 1980s. What do you need for a nuclear weapon? You need three things. You need highly enriched uranium, which we know they've got. We're not sure where it all is. We don't know if they've already destroyed it all. You need a plan to take that highly enriched uranium and turn it into a bomb. And then you need a missile to deliver that nuclear weapon. What was Iran? So they've got the missiles. We've just seen that they've demonstrated they have the reach to reach Europe from Iran. We know they've got highly enriched uranium, and we're pretty sure they've got the blueprint that's going to pull it all together. So they're close to a nuclear weapon. If the United States waits until after they have a nuclear weapon, can you imagine the blackmail that Iran would do, not just to the region, but to the world?
Okay, let me bring in Cenk Uygur. Cenk, I was pretty horrified when I saw the post today. I was pretty horrified when I saw the post on Easter Sunday, to be honest with you. I just thought it was so inappropriate. I always have an allowance for Trump to do a bit of trash talking. I don't like it when he trash talks about people who've just died. I think that's inappropriate and wrong. I wish he wouldn't do it. This is a whole different level of trash talking. This is basically threatening public brazen genocide. That's what he's doing. There is no defense for this, but I just find it astonishing that there are any people prepared to defend it.
Yeah. So I think what Katie McFarland was just saying is absurd. And listen to what she said. She said, what if the Iranians get a nuke? First of all, preposterous. They don't have any ability to deliver that enriched uranium. She knows it. This is all about regime change. It's for Israel. We all know that. In fact, Israel has nukes, and they're a super dangerous country. Ben Gvir on TV.
I know, bro. Here's the funniest thing, though. It's like, I get it. Iran's the enemy of the year right now. But it's kind of funny, though, because, they have a nuclear enrichment. Yeah, the one, they're under the proliferation treaty, that they are. And two, one, Israel's not under no nuclear proliferation treaty. They have illegal nukes, by definition, illegal nukes. And Iran, they have no nukes, not one. But we're not this hard on Israel. And I know people say, well, they're an ally. So our allies are allowed to break the law? Our allies are allowed to have illegal nukes. But then you don't see how the people who are not our allies might not want to position themselves, since it's rules for thee and not for us. It's like, that's kind of wild. And you can't sit there and say that it's not. And you can't sit there and think that they're just supposed to sit there and abide by that structure of power.
Yesterday was joking around about nuking Iran and how he would like to do that. So, and she says, oh my God, can you imagine if the Iranians had nukes, they might want to wipe out our entire civilization. That's what Trump just said. Trump is, like you said earlier, Piers, he's talking like a terrorist. So this is the Israelification of our policy. They're pro-genocide. We're not pro-genocide. We're the good guys. And so this is unbearable. This is, look, I reach out to all voters, including Trump voters, all the time. I'm the last person to rub it in and go, ha, you made a mistake. I love it when people come to the right side. I'm the guy who said Marjorie Taylor Greene, Massey, and Tucker Carlson would do the right thing on war and Iran, and I'm relieved to see that they did, and I really appreciate it. But guys, this is why I was forced to vote for 3 corporate Democrats I can't stand, because the alternative was this madman, Donald Trump. He's always been a madman. He's always been a spoiled child. His father gave him $400 million and he blew it. And then his second daddy, Jeff Zucker, gave him $400 million through The Apprentice and he blew that. So when he gets into this quagmire, he just said yesterday, he didn't think that they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. We all knew they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz. How could you not know that? So he gets frustrated. He got talked into it by Israel. So now he can't find a way out. And so he starts screaming into the abyss like a spoiled child. Give me what I want or I'll destroy you. And I'll take my ball and go home, except I'll nuke you first. This is disgusting talk. And look, I think there is a third alternative to what you just said.
All right.
There's a possibility.
That's funny as hell. I mean, you could tell he's a bit sick. So guess what? We're not going to hear a yelling Jenk tonight. But it is wild, though. He's like, give me all your oil or I'll destroy you. And he did talk about taking their oil, which is, I mean, that's be a war crime. That's a war crime as well. Just, or not, well, not really a war crime, but it's breaking international law just to sit there and take somebody's resources. But we did that in Venezuela, so it is what it is. And I was okay with that. So if Trump wants to do that and take their oil, I mean, good luck, but it's not going to be easy as Venezuela, and we are going to have to put boots on the ground for that endeavor. So if you're ready to lose American life for that, which I disagree with, then, I mean, go ahead. But let's be honest here. I mean, taking oil out of Venezuela and taking oil from Iran are two different things, two different endeavors that are going to have two different outcomes. And here's the thing, we already did Venezuela. We got a good outcome out of that. We're trying to do Iran, and it's a mess. It's a complete mess.
Possibility, Piers, that he's threatening to blow up the power plants and the bridges and to nuke them or do whatever he's madman talk that he's doing. And then he's instead going to put in ground troops and go, ha ha, I'm so clever. You were expecting the bombing, but I put in ground troops instead. But we didn't want ground troops. None of these choices are good. We shouldn't be in this war in the first place. There's nothing but disastrous choices for us. And of course, meanwhile, Israel is laughing and laughing because, number one, they want a mess and chaos in Iran so that it debilitates them and they can't fund Hamas and Hezbollah. And number two, they have the Leviathan pipeline now. It is a giant gas field. So if we bomb Iran's gas fields and they bomb the Gulf gas fields, the number one winner economically is Israel. So they can't wait for this kind of death and destruction. He should have, he fired Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi. He should have fired all the Israel First advisors that are surrounding him, which is literally everyone at the White House.
Okay.
Clean house, get Americans in there, not people serving a different country, and especially a genocidal country like Israel. That's why you get the kind of talk that you're seeing today.
Okay, but the only bigger...
And by the way, one more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just it's
whether the way Trump was talking on Twitter, I thought BB didn't snatch his phone and just got loose with it.
He does it or not, the mere fact of saying that America would destroy an entire civilization and commit genocide or a Holocaust like this puts a moral stain on us. We cannot bear that moral stain. We're supposed to be the good guys. This kind of language, even if he doesn't follow through on it, is a terrible mark on America, and we shouldn't tolerate it.
Okay. I'm a bit concerned about you, Cenk.
All right, yeah. I pretty much can't go live on YouTube for the next 24 hours because they said because I don't know what it was, but apparently when I was setting up the live decided to not duplicate, not triple, not quadruple, but I don't know. I mean, 8 triple itself all down my my stream schedule, and now I just can't set up any more streams on YouTube for the next 24 hours. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. I didn't even know, and for some reason, that's what one of the streaming platforms did, not me. But hey, it is what it is, though. We'll be back tomorrow.
You're losing your voice. I'm not sure the American people could suffer that blow at this particular time.
Don't worry, Katie says one more thing. I'll show you what voice I have
I'm just worried if you do one of your regular blow-ups, this could be it. We could have the silencing of Cenk Uygur in real time. Let me come to Ryan, Max Afterburner. Max, what do you feel about this? I mean, you've served in combat. You're a U.S. Air Force combat pilot. I presume you would share Rob's view and my view that the rescue mission was unbelievable, incredible heroism, both by the pilot and by the teams that went to get him. It was remarkable. But rather than talking about that, we're all talking about this threat from Donald Trump. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, good to see you, Pierce. Good to see everybody else as well. So I think Rob would agree with this. There's never a good time in the middle of the night to come face to face with a Navy SEAL unless you're the weapons systems officer getting rescued. So overall, just a great operation. I'm so proud of all the rescue forces and the Wizzo himself And again, what a great day for America, getting that aviator back safe. But the thing I want to talk about, that I want to highlight and add some context to everybody talking about a whole civilization will die tonight. If we just go to the bottom of that truth post, it says 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. So as you can see right there, he's not saying he's going to have a genocide on the people of Iran. What he's saying is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that took over 47 years ago is who he's focused on eradicating. And remember, he's dealing with terrorists. This is a terrorist regime. So for 10 years, I studied the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in back vaults for the US Air Force. And we always knew this is what they were going to throw at the end game of this war, which are terrorist proxy tactics. So that's going to be the first brief that President Trump got from General Raising Kane is, hey, look, at the end of this, when their military is decimated, their Navy is decimated, they're going to rely on proxy tactics to cause pain on the global economy in the Straits of Hormuz. And so we're seeing that play out. Now, could the president have used some different choice words instead of a whole civilization? Maybe that can be taken out of context. So yeah, he could have changed that.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
Max,
but
look, I
if you
appreciate you translating the president's words into
Yeah,
a
well, it
far,
doesn't even need to be
into a far
translated,
more
Pierce.
benign word.
It did need to be translated. I mean, bro, you should probably be the man's spokesman. You'd be better than Caroline Leavitt. But yeah, I mean, that's a good translation of it. But sorry, we're gonna take the president at his word on that one. He said the end of a civilization, aka, man, he don't care. He will send them back into the Stone Age. He will start attacking civilian infrastructure that's already been attacked. In, by the way, there's like over 100,000 civilian homes and like infrastructure that's been attacked already. So come on, well, civilian locations and all that good stuff. Over 100,000 locations and houses and homes and all this good stuff is like have already been hit. So to sit there and say now you just start attacking their infrastructure, what holds up their water, their energy, and other stuff, is like, yeah, you're pretty much saying you're willing to inflict harm on the entirety of the Iranian people, not just the IRGC. And you're doing this to think that, oh, well, we're going to turn the Iranian people against them. But as you see, now you got Iranian people having a whole circle outside of power plants saying, all right, well, if you're going to take this out, take us all out. And if we do that, that's really going to be a war crime.
Well, but the reality is, had he started by saying, I want to get rid of this IRGC regime, okay, that's one thing, right? But he didn't. He used the words, a whole civilization will die tonight.
Right, that could be taken out of context.
You might have wanted him to say what you've just articulated.
Yeah.
And if he'd said that, there wouldn't be the outrage there is. But he didn't say that.
Well, he did at the end. He brings it home.
No, he says at the end something that is
bro.
completely contradictory to what he said at the start, which is
No, he did not. Come on, dog. Like the cope.
classic Trump in this war. You know, one
Well,
of the things,
interpret
as
both
you know,
pieces,
sure. I mean,
Pierce.
I
You
would
gotta
say
look
to
at
you,
both sections.
Max. I would say to you, but should I call you Max or Ryan? By the way,
Ryan's fine.
Ryan. You know, look, when you were serving, right? To have a commander in chief sending such mixed messages all the time, in real time, publicly, right? I mean, this is not good for anyone serving in the United States.
And I can understand why it's
military.
confusing. But the art of war, so that's one of the tactics that has been used in military operations for thousands of years. The art of war is you keep them guessing. You don't want to tell the Iranian regime when this war is going to end. You don't want to tell them what's coming next. You don't want to tell them what you will or won't strike. So
Yeah, but you wouldn't know when the Art of War was written before the establishment of war crimes. And it's still a good book. It's still a good book. I've read it before. It holds a lot of life lessons in it. But here's a problem. I mean, you remember that was written in a time where, bro, you was allowed to genocide an entire village of people and it was all good. I mean, shoot, that was just a regular day in the war. So I'm sorry, but you don't take us that far back now.
deception is a huge part of warfare, and that's something that's hard for the civilian population to understand. But at the end of the day, you're dealing with a terrorist regime. So you have to sometimes fight fire with fire.
Okay, just before I come back to Glenn, I wanted to just ask Rob O'Neill something that Tucker Carlson also said. He publicly urged United States military and Pentagon officials to actively defy Trump and refuse orders if he attempts to launch nuclear weapons against Iran.
If you work in the White House or in the U.S. military, now it's time to say no, absolutely not, and say it directly to the president, no.
Oh.
In case you're thinking about using some weapon of mass destruction against the population of Iran, in whose name we liberated Iran. We killed their religious leader for their benefit. Do you remember that? This was last month. Those people who are in direct contact with the president need to say no.
What do you feel about that, Rob? I mean, the idea that people serving at high level in the military or at the Pentagon would defy an instruction from the commander-in-chief to launch a nuclear weapon.
Well, I mean, that's not going to happen. Those are, they're going to have to be, there'll need to be lawful orders. And the whole thing with deciding what order is lawful is completely against the uniform code of military justice. Never happened. Plus, if you notice, he didn't say nuclear weapons. We do have weapons more powerful than nuclear weapons. People are going to get wrapped up in that 80s style of Russia versus the United States. We have stuff there. And just other things you got to consider. Yes, the Truth Social is social media, and he's using it sort of as a bargaining chip. You got to figure, look at the amount of time we had tier 1 operators on the ground. Who's to say we didn't get the uranium already? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we do. It's not just shoot from the hip. We have very talented people doing a lot of talented stuff.
You know, it's crazy. People are saying that mission was actually, to save, one, we were going there to save the pilot, but we were also trying to steal their uranium at the same time. And I think the Iranians has even caught on, and they've called us out on it. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if that's really was our mission were. I just leave it at, we were just trying to get our guy back. But maybe, guys, you know what? Just to take a quick little break, let's get right into it with the Lego video. Because, Iran, bro, these guys are just knocking out these Lego videos like it ain't nothing. And they're pretty entertaining. So let's get right into it.
Yeah. They said it was a rush, but it was a heist. Uranium heist, uranium heist. Try to steal our uranium in the dead of night. Commandos, Rangers, Black Hawks in the fight failed miserably, just like Tabas, right? They flew deep into ice, thought we wouldn't see. Special forces, excavators trying to take our enriched uranium for free. Attacked our defenses, tried to seize the ground, but we lit them up. Now the birds are down. C-1 thought they gone, Black Hawks burning in the sand. 600 million wasted on a failed master plan. They called it a rescue, but the world knows the truth. They came for our uranium. That's the real proof. We said it clear, this wasn't random at all. They wanted our nuclear material, that was the goal. Deep into our territory under constant threat, but they got exposed. Now the whole world sees their regret. Failed like Tabas, history repeating again. Superpower embarrassed, losing more than just man. You try to rob us in the middle of the war, now you're running scared. We laugh from afar, sacred defense. Uranium safe. Stop running away, keep your boots on the ground. Yeah.
Oh man, I swear they come out one every day at this point.
Yes, he's doing stuff with the negotiations. I mean, I don't think when you're banking on the entire population to rise up to get rid of the Islamists is the way to say you're going to wipe out an entire civilization. But different words. Yes, he always goes a little bit further, saying, okay, we're going to take Greenland. We're going to take Greenland. It's okay. Maybe we'll have a few bases in Greenland. He's going to take the long shot, but then back off. I just saying you're going to wipe out a civilization. Bad choice of words, I think. But
I was really struck. I was really struck. For example, the biggest mission in modern American history post Second World War is the mission that you were on to kill Osama bin Laden. In terms of the importance, I think, to Americans and to the country and to the people, to finally see him get justice for what he did on 9/11. It was an incredible mission. But what was the theme of that mission? Utter secrecy. Absolutely everybody involved. Tiny number of people at the White House knew about it. Very small number of people in the military knew about it, even though all you top-level guys were all being brought together. Highly unusual for that to happen. But there was a wall of secrecy because people understood that careless words cost lives, a famous World War II thing. Here with Trump, we have the complete opposite. He just spews out all this stuff like a machine gun, a verbal machine gun all day long. And I don't understand how any of that helps. I don't think it's duping the enemy. I don't think the Iranians take any of it that seriously. I just don't understand why he feels the need to do this.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's giving away any secrets. Everything is extremely close held. It's hard for me to find out any information about who's involved in anything, and that's talking with sources in Washington D.C. in Congress. They're keeping it very compartmentalized. And the Bin Laden raid's one thing. We can't tell anybody because if we even tell the host nation, because Pakistan was involved with that, they're going to run him to safety. Stuff like this, we knew they were shot down. Now we didn't know there were 2 pilots there until someone in the Pentagon leaked it. Someone close by. So they're not giving away stuff they're doing right now. I mean, even with Carg Island, who's to say if we're going to take it completely? Which I mean, who knows now? We could. The United States could. We could take all the oil and keep it. So I don't think he's giving away secrets. I
mean, yeah, we could, but at what cost, G? How many American lives are you willing to sacrifice for that mission? Like, and are you willing to go out there and sacrifice your own? Like, I just want to know, because I trust me, I get it. We can put boots on the ground and take Iran, but at what cost? And is that cost palatable to the American people? No, it won't be. It won't. That's why we're hesitant to do it, or that's why Trump is hesitant to do it. And trust me, if he was all for it, he'd have been did it.
I mean, appropriately having fun with it, inappropriately having fun with it, I guess is what I'd say.
Glenn Greenwald, I mean, it seems to me that if you look at what Putin has done in Ukraine, if you look at what China is believed to want to do in Taiwan, for example, the moral authority that...
Make sure to like the video, guys, and smash that like button. Appreciate the support. Oh, I'm just pretty much saying this for the record, because I'm gonna have to post this entire live on YouTube.
Cenk Uygur talked about is incredibly important here. If America sees any moral high ground whatsoever by openly threatening genocide as Trump has done today, whether he meant it or not, the fact he's gone on record as saying it, how can America, when another nation commits an act which they view as morally reprehensible, how can they play the moral card with it going forward?
Well, we can, and it wasn't just just today. It was long before this. There have been American hawks who have gone to Europe and warned people in Europe that the reason China is rising so greatly and in displacing Americans in all the regions where we used to be dominant, like Africa and Latin America, is because the world perceives that the Americans and the United States government is a bully and just uses military force and war and weapons anytime it feels like. Whereas China was able to rise to a world power, even though they haven't fought a war in 48 years. The last war they fought was 1979. That was a 1-month border dispute with Vietnam, and yet we're fighting wars constantly, and now with the American president threatening civilizational annihilation. And I don't think we need to sit here and dissect the True Social post as though it's like some hieroglyphic from ancient civilization and we have to decipher what it really means. Trump has repeatedly made statements like this. As you said, on Easter, he vowed to destroy every power plant in Iran and every bridge in Iran. That wouldn't just affect the regime, that would destroy the lives of millions of people who are in Iran, people that were supposedly there to represent. And I just want to add one last point, which
I know, and just like us, they got to use that bridge for commerce. They know they got stuff they got to transport on bridges. They got places they got to drive in and out of Tehran. So yeah, that bridge that we blew up mainly used by civilians. So basically a war crime, just like the bridge that Israel blew up in southern Lebanon, because, well, civilians use that to get over that river in Lebanon over into southern Lebanon. And you pretty much just blocked off access to southern Lebanon through bombing that bridge that mainly civilians use. And also Hezbollah. Why? Because they need to get over to southern Lebanon, and that's the only bridge over there. So blowing up that bridge, that's a war crime. It doesn't constitute as a military target.
It's so bizarre to have to sit here and listen to people like Katie McFarland say, oh, we have to go to war to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon, when these were the same exact people who said the same exact thing about Saddam Hussein, that we had to go to war because Saddam Hussein was going to get a nuclear weapon and pass it to Al-Qaeda and they were going to detonate it, all of which turned out to be lies. And they just come back like none of it ever happened. And even this rescue mission, I'm glad the pilot was rescued, but I do think we have to be a little bit aware as well that there's a lot of propaganda disseminated in war. We were told at the very start of the war, you may remember this, that there was this soldier named Jessica Lynch who heroically fought off Iraqi fighters and gunned a bunch of them down and was finally taken and tortured in a hospital, and U.S. forces rescued her in a daring raid, none of which turned out to be true. The media told this story over and over. So a lot of this is propaganda. A lot of this are things that we've seen before. And we do have a major problem even before Trump started with these insane threats, not just in this Truth Social post. And we didn't just threaten it, we have blown up their bridges, which obviously affects the population. We've blown up their refineries that poisons their air and water. These are things we're actually doing. And the US was already in a hole morally and geostrategically, which is why China is rising, because countries would rather deal with them. And this makes it infinitely worse, even if Trump doesn't follow through on these monstrous threats.
Yeah, I mean, Casey McFarland, I remember the Donald Trump campaigning to be elected in 2024, who couldn't have been clearer. He was going to stop taking America into these Middle Eastern wars. He thought they were ruinous for the economy. They were ruinous on life. He just didn't understand them. He kept telling us how he thought Iraq had been a terrible mistake, and he wanted to stop all this. This was America first, meant looking after American interests in America. And my God, there are lots of stuff that he could be doing to improve the lives of Americans right now. And he made a good start. He shut the.
I'm telling you, he had a pretty good start, and then he just destroys it all. Well, I'm not gonna say completely destroy it, but basically walks backwards on all of his progress that he made on the economy. Affordability, and all he had to do was just focus on affordability, stay out of war with Iran, and he'd have been good. I mean, at least his first year, at least fix the economy, at least fix affordability, at least bring more jobs back to the United States before you go over there and hop in a war with Iran, asking for $200 billion out from the American people. Well, not really, that you're going to reallocate out of other services that the American people rely on. This is insane.
Southern border. I thought that was an excellent thing to do after what happened under Biden for 4 years. But ever since now, it seems like he's been on a mission to contradict his own campaigning. And what could be a bigger contradiction of I'm not going to drag America into these pointless Middle Eastern wars than dragging America into the biggest and most potentially dangerous and ruinous Middle Eastern war imaginable. And now he's talking about wiping out whole civilizations. How does that sit with Donald Trump, the campaigner? Vote for me and I won't do this.
I guess I would take great issue with what Glenn has just said about people like Donald Trump not supporting the Iraq war. I ran for the U.S. Senate in 2006 because I didn't think the Bush administration was doing the right thing with the Iraq war. President Trump is not against war. He's not afraid of war. He's not afraid of using military force. What he doesn't want is a forever war that goes on for decades that the United States can't win, that costs us in blood and treasure. And if you listen to what he said in the last 48 hours even, he said, we're not going to make Bush's mistakes. We are not going to go into Iran. We're not going to fire all the military. We're not going to get rid of everybody in the government. We don't want to occupy it. We don't want to run the place. We want a Venezuela model where we can go and maybe decapitate the senior leadership and then get whoever is left in the leadership to do a deal with us. We'll develop their oil. They'll get rid of their nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but the only reason we got that out of Venezuela because Delcy Rodriguez pretty much cut a deal with us on the back end. That's the only reason. She was ready to betray Maduro and, come to power and just work with the U.S. through oil. Like, the regime is still in power. They still got theirs. Honestly, authoritarian ways there. They're still socialists. The money's most likely all going to the government still, and the people of Venezuela's lives are not getting any better. We just got a better deal when it comes to their oil. So, yeah.
Open the Strait of Hormuz. So I think you're all basically taking the bait. Donald Trump negotiates from strength. So what he does is he goes in and the first position out of his mouth is the extreme position. And then he negotiates backwards. And then in the end of the day, he gets the result he wants.
Well, let me put a different argument to you, which is that I think, and I've known him a long time, Donald Trump. I like him personally. We've been friends for 2 decades. But knowing him as well as I do, and you know him well too, I think he has massively miscalculated with this war in Iran, which no one wants to call a war, because if it was called a war, you'd have to go through Congress. And no American president likes to do that with war. But they should, actually, but another point. But, looking at Donald Trump's behavioral pattern in the last few weeks, I think that he thought this would be like Venezuela. They would go in. The Israelis said to them, we've got the Ayatollah, we've got all these top people in the same room, we can take them all out. And he thought, decapitate them, the people would rise up. That's what Netanyahu told him, and it would all be over very quickly. And the complete opposite has happened. And where the real miscalculation came was in Iran's ability to withstand enormous military superiority against them, but to then exercise a sort of parallel universe war, an asymmetric of an economic kind with the Straits of Hormuz, effectively shutting that down, causing enormous damage to the global economy. It will be felt now for many months, whatever happens, and then attacking the Gulf states in a way that has, paralyzed their business model. So attacking oil refineries in the Gulf states, its neighbors, attacking tourist centers and so on. This has been a disaster for them. And so you add it all up, and I think, where's the win here? The regime is still in place. They've got way more IRGC people that can come through the ranks and fill the gaps. So that hasn't changed. The people are not uprising for a number of reasons. Probably fear of
F up. I mean, bro, uprising. They're over here like forming a human circle around these energy plants and these bridges. So yeah, it's not really an uprising. It's a standing in solidarity with the regime. Sadly, that's what we're seeing on the ground.
Bombs.
The Strait of Hormuz is closed. The Strait of Hormuz is closed.
And the Strait of Hormuz, exactly. As Glenda said, the Straits of Hormuz remain pretty well closed to anyone that the Iranians don't want to leave them open to. I just am struggling to conclude.
Now they're saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna remain control of the Strait of Hormuz, and we're also gonna start charging people $2 million fees. I mean, that's gonna get passed down to us in some way, shape, or form. But at least we get our oil. And Iran gets there. Oh man, that's what I'm saying. It's just not going to look like a good deal. Trust me, the neocons are going to lose their shit. They're going to sit there and be like, Trump is giving Iran money through these entry fees. And I'm just like, yeah, but guess what? If he never got into the war, Iran wouldn't be getting these entry fees.
Anything other than Trump has miscalculated, really. Probably because he's been misled by the Israelis that this would be indeed like it was in the 12-day war last summer and like it was in Venezuela, a quick, sharp shock and get out. And now I don't think he knows how to get out. And the Iranians know they can hold the Straits of Hormuz as this bargaining tool, which is almost impossible to take away from them.
So what you're saying is that because Iran is using this bargaining tool, which is using this blackmail tool, the economic tool, that they would that we're supposed to let them do that and then potentially have nuclear weapons and let them blackmail the world again?
No, I don't believe there was. I know.
I mean, look, I hear you. No, we don't want that. But what are you willing to do to stop it? That's the problem. What are we willing to do to stop them from holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage? Like, well, here's the thing. Not much, because Trump is pretty much willing to hear out this 10-point plan. And they're not going to not opening the Strait of Hormuz. They're still charging the passage fee. So, yeah, what are we really getting out of this? And like I said, it depends. How far do you want to go with this, lady? I mean, because the only way to get to open the Strait of Hormuz would be to take on Cargill and take over the ports as well. Really, probably just put boots on the ground and disable all of their missile launch pads, the one above and underground. So if you're not willing to do all that, then we kind of got to work with these guys on some type of arrangement now that we put ourselves in this situation.
I don't believe there was an impending threat of nuclear weapons in Iran. I think that was a totally misleading reading of their situation.
And bro, it went from they can't have a nuclear bomb to they can't enrich. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people kind of get like tricked up right there. Because like, bro, it was about them not having a bomb. Now y'all saying that they can't even enrich uranium, and they're gonna fight you on that because they do have the right to enrich uranium. Now, the problem is, though, that we believe that they may be starting enriching uranium to that 90% to get a bomb. But the problem is, though, in 2015, we was able to get that under the JCPOA, and that took care of that problem until 2018. Donald Trump ripped up that deal, placed the IRGC as a terrorist group, killed Qasem Soleimani. Oh, yeah, and he put back on the sanctions, which was the whole reason why Iran even got into the deal. So Iran had no reason to abide by the JCPOA no more. Acts of aggressions was taken upon them. And by 2021, they're at 60% enrichment. We're all just like, oh shit. Yeah, we're having that oh no shit moment. All because, well, I'll be real with you. When Donald Trump ripped up that JCPOA deal, that led us on this path right here. Because if he didn't rip up that deal, we'd have all the intelligence on their nuclear capability and everything. And let's be real, if they was doing anything to push towards that 60%, we'd have known it have violated it, and we'd have been able to take these actions, rightfully so. But like I said, that's if, only if Trump would have just stuck in the deal.
flies completely in the face of what we were told happened after the 12-day
Oh,
war.
I already know what you're gonna say. So you just want to give millions to them, billions? Well, that's what relieving the sanctions does. Obama didn't just give these guys money out of American people's pockets or the taxpayers' pockets. He gave them money from the release sanctions that froze up their assets, and now they're just getting that back for us to be able to observe their nuclear capability. So I'm just like, it's a good deal in my eyes. I'm like, all right, I'll give you your money back that we really don't need. It's your money, and you let us look over your nuclear capabilities. Nothing wrong with that.
So I think that this was a genuine desire by the Israelis to have a regime change in Iran, and they persuaded Donald Trump to join in. That's why Anthony Blinken said they tried to get Biden to do it. They tried to get Obama to do it. They both said no, and Israel did not attack. This time they got third time lucky. As Marco Rubio said, the Americans got involved because they were told another country was going in, and they knew that there would be retaliation, so we better get in first. It came out of the Secretary of State's mouth.
Yeah, I mean, Obama called their bluff. Oh, they came to Obama and said, look, bro, it's like, look, you need to help us to fight Iran. We're about to go bomb Iran. Like, you got to follow us up on that. He said, no, I'm not actually, but good luck. Oh, we'll nuke them. Okay, go ahead, do it. See what happens.